Good morning, viewers. Today I am present before you with the topic Understanding the Age of Elizabeth. Before I begin the podcast, it is advisable that you keep a notebook and a pen so that you can jot down the important points relating to this particular topic. It is further advisable to use earplugs for listening to the podcast. So here I begin. In our history, this is perhaps the most remarkable epoch for the expansion of both mental and geographical horizons. Now, knowledge was pouring in from the east and new worlds were opening in the west. By the time of Elizabeth, the Renaissance, as it was called, had made itself strongly felt in England. In particular, there was an ardent revival in the study of Greek, which brought a dazzling light into many dark places of the intellect. The new passion for classical learning, in itself a rich and worthy enthusiasm, became quite a danger to all the language. In all branches of literature, Greek and Latin usages began to force themselves upon English, with results not wholly beneficial. It said much for the native sturdiness of English that after a brief and vexed period of transition, it threw off the worst effects of this deadening pressure. English did not emerge unscathed from the contest. But, applied to this slight extent, the new classical influences were a great benefit. They tempered and polished the earlier rudeness of English literature. After the lean years of the preceding age, the prodigal issue of the Elizabethan age is almost embarrassing. The historical situation encouraged a healthy production. The interest shown in literary subjects is quite amazing to a more chastened generation. Pamphlets and treatises were freely written. Much abuse, often of a personal and scurrilous character, was indulged in, and literary questions became almost of national importance. To a great extent, the controversies of the day were puerile enough, but at least they indicated a lively interest in the literature of the period. The romantic quest is for the remote, the wonderful, and the beautiful. All these desires were abundantly fed during the Elizabethan age, which is our first and greatest romantic age. On the one hand, there was the revolt against the past, whose grasp was too feeble to hold in restraint the lusty youth of the Elizabethan age. On the other, there was a daring and resolute spirit of adventure in literary as well as in other regions. And most important of all, there was an unmistakable buoyancy and freshness in the strong wind of the spirit. It was the ardent youth of English literature, and the achievement was worthy of it. The bold and critical attitude of the time was in keeping with the dramatic instinct, which is analytic and observant. Hence, after the long period of incubation, the drama made a swift and wonderful leap into maturity. Yet, it had still many early difficulties to overcome. The actors themselves were at variance, so much so that outrageous brawls were frequent. On more than one occasion, between 1590 and 93, the theatres were closed owing to disturbances caused by the actors. Another early difficulty the drama had to face was its fondness for taking part in the quarrels of the time. For example, in the burning Marprelate controversy. Owing to this meddling, the theatres were closed in 1589. The most important anti-dramatic book of the day was Gosson's virulent School of Abuse, published in 1579, to which Sidney replied with his Apology for Poetry, written in about 1580. In spite of such early difficulties, the drama reached the splendid consummation of Shakespeare's art. Though the poetical production was not quite equal to the dramatic, it was nevertheless of great and original beauty. As can be observed from the disputes of the time, the passion for poetry was absorbing, and the outcome of it was equal to expectation. For the first time, prose rises to a position of first rate importance. The dead weight of the Latin tradition was passing away. English prose was acquiring a tradition and a universal application, and so the rapid development was almost inevitable. A curious minor feature of the age was the disappearance of Scottish literature after its brief but remarkable appearance in the previous age. At this point, it took to ground and did not reappear till late in the 18th century. So, this was a short note on understanding the age of Elizabeth, which is considered one of the most important ages of the history of English literature. I hope this podcast proved to be of help to each one of you. Please mention your questions and observations in the comment section below. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon for latest update. Thank you for your valuable time. Here's wishing you a great day ahead.